What's up, everybody? I'm gonna make a get ready with me, so let's get right to it. And nah, I'm just joking. But I really am gonna go shower and change, so once I'm done, I'll be right back to get into this video, so let's get it. All right, I'm back. I just got ready. It's Sunday and my Cowboys are fixing to play, so I ain't worn this jersey in a minute, so I'm gonna rock it today. And as much as I've lived in Texas, like I've lived in Texas my whole life, and I've never worn cowboy boots with my cowboy jersey. That's pretty funny. So I thought I would do it today, but yeah, I'm fixing to just give you a little quick, you know, y'all feel me? Had to rock the buckle too, you feel me? Yep, but anyway, let's get right into what I'm gonna be talking about. So if you don't know the story of Joseph, he's the son of Jacob, which is AKA Israel, and Jacob is the son of Isaac. Isaac is the son of Abraham. So you see how, you know, Abraham and God had the covenant that through, you know, Abraham's sons, he's gonna have many nations. He's gonna have, you know, many sons, and everyone's gonna be blessed through him because Abraham is the ancestor of Jesus. So Joseph is in the family tree linked to Jesus, so he's anointed. Joseph was the second youngest out of 12 brothers, and he was highly anointed. And they saw that, you know, they didn't like that his father favored him. They didn't like that he was having these dreams of, you know, everyone around him bowing to him. And his mistake was letting it be known, like, hey, I'm having these dreams, y'all are bowing to me. Even his father Israel, Jacob, rebuked him for basically talking about his dream where everyone was bowing to him, even his father. And he was like, man, you're crazy. Like, I'm not fixing to bow to you. His brothers kind of conspired against him and sold him to Egypt. And he spends 13 years in Egypt as a prisoner, as a servant, a slave. And just reading the story, it's just so crazy that he has these dreams and these visions with his colorful robe, and his brothers are bowing down to him. His dad is bowing down to him. The sun and the moon and his dreams, you know, they're all bowing before him. And here he is in Egypt for 13 years as a slave, as a prisoner, falsely accused. He gets sold to Potiphar, and he's in Potiphar's house for a good amount of time. And then he gets falsely convicted of, you know, coming on Potiphar's wife, gets thrown into prison for a good amount of time. And he comes across these two people who used to be in Pharaoh's house, but now they're in prison, and he is the only one that can interpret their dreams. He gives them an interpretation of what their dream is. One of them, the cupbearer, he gets restored to his old position in Pharaoh's house, and the baker ends up getting hanged, and he dies because he got convicted. And Joseph is the one that gave them this interpretation, and all he asked of the cupbearer was, hey, when you get to Pharaoh's house, remember me, because I'm innocent. And of course, the cupbearer forgot. You know, as soon as he got restored, he forgot. 2 years passes by after that. So imagine Joseph is like, man, I might get out of here. I just interpreted his dream, you know, God is with me. I got a special gift, something like that, you know. And 2 years go by and nothing happens. It's important to note that when I was reading this, it just shows how God was with Joseph in everything. In Potiphar's house, he was anointed. He was, you know, the head of Potiphar's house. In prison, he was the head of the prison. You know, he was doing everything that the prison guard should have done, and he was just anointed. So it was like all he needed was that opportunity. He just needed to be put in the right place at the right time, and he was going to be anointed. And that's what happened. Pharaoh has a dream. It needs interpretation. And who's the only one that can interpret it? Not Pharaoh's magicians, not Pharaoh's servants. Nobody in the land could except Joseph, because God was with him. And I love the way that he explains when he's in front of Pharaoh, like God interpreting dreams is for God. And I'm going to tell you what God told me. And he tells him what God told him. And Pharaoh is amazed, like, who else in the land has the Spirit of God in him? Pharaoh is saying this. A pagan worshiper is saying, who else has the Spirit of the living God in them? You know? And he praises Joseph. He anoints him and he puts him second in command. Joseph basically becomes Pharaoh. You know, the only one that's above him in the land is Pharaoh. And I was just reading this like, man, he spent 13 years as a slave, as a prisoner, getting betrayed by his brothers. Like at this point, he forgot about his dream. He doesn't even remember his dream of his brothers and his dad and everyone bowing before him. You know, like that dream is gone. And now it's like, he's just there. And just like that, God restores him, brings his dream to pass. And the beautiful thing is he's restored and he's anointed in Pharaoh's house. And he ends up naming his sons Manasseh and Ephraim. And Manasseh means God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household. And Ephraim means God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. So now Joseph doesn't even remember the days of his suffering when he was in prison and as a slave, 13 years. Now he's anointed, walking in his assignment. And like I said, just like that, it all turned around. And it's just so inspiring to me because, you know, at times I get stuck in my head. I get stuck in the past and I'm like, man, God, why did I do that? God, I could have been here. God, I feel like I'm in slavery. I'm in bondage. God, I need you. And it's like, God, I overthink. I'm like, man, I missed my opportunity. It's by the time I get here, it's going to be this. It's going to take this long. And God's like, no, it could change like that. It's going to change like that. And I keep forgetting how, you know, how God is above time and he's the restorer of everything. And he's the God that restores. So if you feel like you're stuck in life, if you feel like you're living in regret, or you feel like you just can't escape this place, and if you try to, it's going to take so long, with God, everything can change, just like Joseph, in the snap of a finger. And he's the one that provides the opportunities, the doors to walk through in the anointing, you know? Like Joseph was faithful to God for 13 years. He didn't sleep with Potiphar's wife. So he got betrayed. Imagine you get betrayed and you're like, man, God don't love me. I just got sold into slavery. And then, you know, Potiphar's wife, let's say someone that, you know, that is above you. I'm assuming she might have been beautiful. She was Potiphar's wife. Comes on to you. You know, a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of men would be like, you know what? God abandoned me. God did this. I'm not going to live like that no more. I'm not going to live for him. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to live in my sinful nature. But Joseph, he says something so beautiful. He says, how can I do this awful sin against my God? And that just shows why God anointed him. And that's the other side of it, is we have to be faithful. And I myself, like, I struggle with this. You have to be faithful to God in order to receive the anointing and the blessing. You know, God led him and guided him through all of this because he was faithful, because he kept his eyes on him. And he gave all the glory to him. You know, he was tapped in. That's why he was able to interpret the dreams. That's why he was, you know, fleeing from Potiphar's wife. And I just hope that this encourages somebody today, because I needed this. And when I was reading the story, you know, like I said, I was just in a mind state of like, man, God, when are you going to restore me? When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Things I've been praying for. And this story just opened my eyes to just trust in him, because it's going to change like that. Promise you. But that's all I got for today. I hope this encourages somebody. God bless y'all. Y'all be safe. I will be posting more, so stay tuned.